The one using the Lenovo C2, if you not mute or remove you, in any case, you don't have a
Yes, Nambogo, you share.
Nambogo, you can see we are waiting. Nambogo, thanks. Let's see. Thanks, that's the work. So can you make it a bit bigger? I hope your friends can see. Now, number one, good. You stop there because they might stop there. Your screen is a bit small. Some words may not be seen. That's enough. Now, number one was okay from what I've seen from your friends, but I want to start from number two. Number two says the table below shows the cumulative distribution of the age in years of 400 students of a certain secondary school. You give an age under 12, under 13, under 14, up to under 19. Then they give you the cumulative frequency. Under 12, 0, under 27, under 13, 27, then 85, 215, 320, 370, 395, up to 400. The question was, plot an ogive of the data and use it to estimate the median. Though I'd said median, actually now, those who are in class, I said use put, calculate the mean, not from the ogive, but calculate part B. Mean was part of today's work. So we are discussing that. Then number three is okay, because similar to senior four. What I've seen, people have done number three well. Number four, we can discuss it. It has frequency density. So let me start with number two. So you can stop sharing. Then I try to draw the graph with you again, since people have seen the question. Thanks, Namboge, for having the question. Can you stop sharing so that I can share my Blackboard? Thanks so much. Now, if we can have a board so that we said we need a graph paper. We need a graph paper in any subject, physics and math and even chemistry. We use a graph paper. So our graph paper, you must draw your vertical axis with a ruler. Since I'm using a laptop, you may not see my ruler. So these must be straight lines, horizontal and vertical. Now from our data work there, you see the horizontal, I say there is no problem. I can come and say, this is edge, because the horizontal has edge. Now the edge starts from 12, so you can put 12, 13, 14, 15, and remember you are using a graph paper. So you are not estimating positions like mine. Are we there? I could have even stopped my graph somewhere. Could have stopped part of it there. So we have our line. Let's make it up there. Then let me bring the edge here. Write your edge. Then I've removed it. So the vertical, you come and put CF. Cumulative frequency. You come up with a scale. You can say 0, 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400. So this is normal and easy question, but what happens with an ogive accumulative curve? We use the class boundaries. We don't use the mid-mark. So when you are plotting, 0 is against 12. So your first points, let me come and use red. So if I'm plotting my first point, I'll put 12 under 12. I'll come and put my 0. That's my first point. Then under 13 is 27. So if you have a graph book, you'll have a better point. Under 14 is 85. So that's below 100. Under 15 is 215. Under 16 is 320. So for you to have a graph paper, the point must be accurate. Under 17 is 370. That's about 350. Under 18 is 395. That's below 400. And under 19 is 400. So you do your best that you meet. So you join with free hand. Let me go back to black probably. So you come and join with free hand. That's what we call an ogive. So you come and write here. This is my ogive. Can you put the details? Ogive, cumulative frequency against edge, favor, all that alone is enough. So this is how your graph should have looked like. We are plotting 12 and 0, 13 and the 27. Those I saw, you were plotting between 12 and 13. That is a class mark. That's not a boundary. So we use boundaries. Some books to call it upper class boundaries. But because I've started 12, 0, it looks like a lower one. So that's why I don't mention that. So that was number 2. Are we okay with number 2? Julia, is that okay? Do you have that graph? Can you cross-check your work? That number 2 should be like that. Before I go to number 4. Abdurrahman, I want to hear somebody tell me, is number 2 okay now? Check your graph book.
Yes, teacher.
Is that okay?
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
Yes,
Did you do the work?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Now that was question 2. Now with Zoom, we shall need to clean the board. Now we go to.
Excuse me, teacher.
We go to, I saw that those people shared their work. Number 3 was okay because the classes are still like senior 4. Their marks 30 to 39, as she has shared already. on the screen, that is okay. But now 4. Question 4 has unequal classes. So for question 4, let me give you, it has, if you are to share, our board, probably we first need to clean. That's why I told Mr. Sendaula, these days I use Google Meet for, if you have emails, we shall need to train you to use Google Meet. University, they use Google Meet because it has a very big blackboard with many pages. So I don't need to clean. Now, yeah, sometimes I clean. So now our board is here. Let me first, because I need enough space, let me first do something about ourselves so that you may not see me for a second, so that we use a full board. That is probably to make, because I want to include the question. For some of you are going to say, we don't have the figures. Even though they read them, she shared them, some of you are just joining us. So you're likely to tell the class, I don't have so we have this. So what Nambogo shared, we can say 1, 1, 10, it was 13, 1, 1, 5, 1, 19, it's 20, 120. The difference here, why I picked this is this class. This is not common at senior 4. The class there is bigger, isn't it? Then they go back to 130 to 134. Another smaller class. Then 135, check this class, to 144. This is a bigger class. And finally, 145 to 159. And this is 12. So this is the work from what your friend read. They said, draw the histogram. And I can say estimate the mode. Last time I left out the median because we shall discuss again. So you'll get back to it when I get there, probably today at the end, or probably but you can read today because it's not far. But they want also the mode. Probably this one can show the mode. Now, if you want to do this work, we said at A level, unlike O level, first introduce under your solution. First introduce the class size. The class size. If you have space, if you had space, I'd introduce the class boundaries. But I don't have space for the graph. So I'll stop at frequency density to save our space for the graph so that we don't clean again. Now, some people don't like red in life. Red is for Mr. Sendaula and me when teachers mark. So let me just wanted it for you to see that's a solution. Now, what's the C? I hope people remember. Do you remember this is 5? Abdurrahman. Abdurrahman, today you are quiet. I like the discipline of being quiet, but that is when we are quiet, when you have gone back to your bed. Because Mr. Sendaula is recording, you stay in your bed and I keep talking to myself. So, Cynthia, I want the size of 135 to 144. How big is that?
It is 10.
It is 10. Okay, good,
Yes.
thanks. Then the last one, 145 to 159.5. Somebody give us that one.
15.
Okay, 15, good. So I hope we are together. Now that's why now, unlike number 1 and number 3, if you did that work, those classes were equal. You would see them. These classes is very common at HSC. Our classes sometimes are not equal. That's why we introduce frequency density. So what's our frequency density for the first class? Who can give us the answer?
2.6.
You have 2 points? You say 2.6. Then give me the next. I hope so people have seen where I'm getting my answers.
So,
Then the next one is, the one for 17 and 5.
3.4.
3.4.
Okay. Then 1.6. And then the last one?
0.8.
0.8. Good. So it means I picked out those two. You need class size, the class width, and frequency density. Then the other issue why we pick this number is the scale becomes critical. The scale, hope it will fit. The scale here, we must capture the lowest and the highest. So because of space, I can come here and say 109.5. I hope you see how I get from, we now to start. Now I use class boundaries. Is that okay? You must use class what? Boundaries. And because of space, I'm going to go to 119.5. Then the next bar will be 129.5. Then the next box, same size, 139.5, 149.5, and lastly, 159.5. This is what I told you I call scale. These are class. Some people can call it class limits. You can call it class boundaries. Sorry. Class boundaries. That's the X. Do you see my scale? That's why we have not checked. Let me see my daughter here who sent the work. I don't know whether she captured the scale correctly. As most of us go wrong by not looking at the scale. You basically look at these things and you do it in the O-level style. Yet now you advanced people, you are potential MPs. When you sit senior 6, you can stand as an MP. Is Rahum around today? So an MP should be your president. Did you do the work?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. I've forgotten this girl's number who sent the work. But let's proceed in the interest of time. So I come the vertical, record the lowest. I also pick a scale. Because 4 is the highest, I'll come and say, let me use 0.5. Then 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, and then 4. So my figures, I hope you can read them. 3.5, should write it properly. So that scale, and I've labeled the horizontal, you must label the vertical. What is it? You come and say frequency, density. Frequency density. Is that okay? You come and do the labeling. Now we draw our histogram. It's 109 to 114.5. So 114.5 does not reach, because this is 10 and these are 5, this is halfway. So when I'm drawing the 2.6 here, when I draw the 2.6, I'll do something like that, this. And mind you, are using a ruler, your things must be straight. So this mark here is 1.4. Then the one for 4, the one coming next, is the one that stops. It must stop at 119.5. Then 3.2, somebody is there studying with their family. Either they don't trust you, they are sitting with you in the class because they are not sure whether things here can remain in class. I'm just using an example.
Teacher, we are here.
So who is that one with the family? There's somebody there who has called the sisters of primary to study, including the mother. Yeah, sorry. All right. So the next one is 5. So if it's 5, we make it smaller. It comes to the middle. See that? Then 1.6 is 10. So 1.6 is 10. Come to 1.6. It has to go to the middle. Read it. Okay. Then, which means I didn't finish my classes. I needed one more. Shall have 140, 159 here. We did complete. So the last one becomes 15. So it's from 0.8 and goes up to the end. And that becomes your histogram.
Yes.
So do you see the difference? This is a histogram with unequal class width. So I hope you've seen. So you need to be careful when you are looking at the horizontal axis. It's a vertical axis for most students. So that was question 4. If I wanted the mode, I've seen some of you have done mode. Mode, we shall discuss it, but we can come here and do mode. Mode, you basically look at this tallest bar, join from left to left. You join from here to there, join from here, right. From that corner to this corner, from the tallest building to the next tallest, from the tallest building to the one before. Then where they meet, you come and drop. You come and drop to the ground like this. All this you're using a ruler, not freehand like me. This point here is what you read off the ground, and that becomes your mode. So we shall be discussing mode. That was question number 4. Number 5, I hope, Cynthia, that's okay. Have we understood? Any question about that?
Yes, sir.
Which Abdul Rahman today I've not heard from him. Rahma. Not Rahma. Raz what?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Teacher. Ramza.
Ramza, have you understood?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Now,
Excuse me, sir, I
let's
have a
come back
question.
to class. You ask?
For the x-axis.
Yes, teacher. I'm understanding.
On the x-axis, which one I use? Okay, if I start from 110 to 119 to 129, 139 like that, instead of using 109.5.
Let's go back to that screen. You want to make this 110.
Yes, sir.
110 works if you have continuous data. When they're already, once this and this are different from the word, then number one, we said that work becomes discrete. That work becomes countable. We are counting. So things we count, we create class boundaries for them first. So 110 is not the boundary for this. If you are good, you can plot, but somebody will critically check your work, because you can have 110, but your reading for the histogram should be 109.5. Now that becomes a challenge for most of you. Once you start with 110, it might be difficult. Last week I did 0 to 5, but the 2.5 was easy to locate between 0 and 5. You get the point? Now 109.5 is difficult for you if you have started with 110. That's why here you first start with class boundaries, because it's counting things. We get boundaries first. That's why a start question, you must first ask yourself, am I working with discrete work? Am I working with continuous? Those two are very, very vital questions before you answer. Otherwise, you can misfire. So for me, I can do with 110 and play with my scale. And I'll do it, because what I'll do, I'll put 110 here, then I'll leave some boxes behind. Therefore, in between the box before, I can locate. But most of us may not go into that thinking. It becomes a bit tedious. So 109.5 is much, much better for you. Hope my point is got. Raymond.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, thanks.
Excuse me.
You ask?
Teacher, is it a must to start from 0 on the y-axis?
You speak. We can't hear you. You speak.
Is it a must to start from 0 on the y-axis?
Yeah, y-axis 0 is a must, because you're giving from 0 to 4, unless normally y-axis 0 makes more sense for most of these things, because it's either cumulative frequency or histogram, so they are likely to be something close to 0. But if it was on the horizontal, anything can happen. Horizontal may not start from, you'll say 0, then not drawn to scale. Even the vertical, we shall, if it was not cumulative curve and histogram, if it comes to scatter graph, if our class will continue until sometime, I'll talk about scatter graph. There you'll see L. But for now, let's start from 0. Is that okay? Cynthia, I hope it's okay.
Yes, teacher.
Proceed, or any other question? Do you have a question from somebody? Somebody wants to share something? Okay,
No,
let's
teacher, let's
proceed.
proceed.
Okay, good. Let's first now clean our board. We have agreed that that was our histogram. Allow me clean this histogram, some things off so that we don't have a dirty blackboard. I think it's clean. Good. Now, when I look at number 5, we did it with you last time. Even we did number 6, even number 7. So can we agree that, though, let me see, if I'm to say something, it will be number, anybody who tried number 8? Did you try 8? I think 8, let me talk about 8, because 8, let me talk about 8 and probably 8 and 9, because I was telling my friend there about continuous. Now 8 brings in the continuous. I don't know if 9 will have that. So let me talk about 8 quickly. 8, they wanted the histogram again. Even though I've done, you can see it has its also uniqueness. Now the 8, because of space, allow me to first, I hope you won't play in our class when I'm off, when you're not seeing me, but you're seeing the board. You big people, I said that Abdurrahman is a potential MP now for the youth. All of you are potential MPs since you are above 18 or you're about to be 18. So you can be disciplined. Now, number 8 has still age. They give us age. And frequency. It had 18 and under 19. So my friend Raymond, check out this one. I think this is where I give you what you're talking about. But the difference also is the class size. These classes are different. 26, under 30, and 32, under 32. So I think I sent this work, but if I didn't send it down, you can write. Just you need this table. It's going to help us. But I think one of you sent it. Those who tried, I saw somebody. Oh, sorry, I've skipped a figure, and that's the problem with Zoom. I need to reshare again if I'm to get back to correcting my figure. There is 76 here. Then 48. Then 16 and 6. I've used the blue because I want us now to use black for solution. Black is always a better color for students. Using blue, a blue pen is okay, but in terms of us a teacher writing on these boards, black is good. Now, they want a histogram. So from what we discussed today, we start with class size. What's the class width? Now, unlike the other one where you add the 0.5 here, you just say 19 minus 18, the class size is 1. We don't say 18 and 19. That's what I've seen. Some of you, O-level work, your class size here is 2. You count 18 and 19. Now, but when you check, you say 19 minus 18, because this is already boundaries. So this is 1, this is 1, this is 4, this is 2. So do you see my classes? Now, Subuga, do you see my class size?
Yes, teacher.
So the counting doesn't work because my data here is continuous. This is not discrete. We count for discrete. Continuous, we take the upper value minus the lower one. The difference is the class size. So it's 1, not 2. Otherwise, I've seen some of you, you gave me 2. That's why I said, let me discuss it for you, because 2 is for now. You did count, you didn't subtract. Now the frequency density will be 24, 70. Now this becomes smaller. 76 by 4 is 19?
19.
Okay.
I beg your pardon on why we are putting 1 and not 2.
Not 2. Now, I said that in statistics, we have 2 types of data. We have discrete things and we have continuous work. When you find 19 given to you and 19, if this class ends at 19 and this one starts at 19, it means you have class boundaries. It means you have what? Class boundaries. You have 20 and you have 20. You have 24 and you have 24. You have 26 and 26, 30 and 30. So here you don't have the opportunity of saying 19.5. At all level, we used to do that. Now at HSC, we distinguish the 2. So when the class is already given, the boundaries like 19, 19, once this is the same as that, then you have the upper class boundary and the lower class boundary. And class width is upper class boundary minus lower class boundary. So 19 minus 18, you get 1. Do you see that? 20 minus 19, yes, you get 1. Why did you get 2? You got 2 because you counted that there's somebody who is 18 in the class and somebody who is 19. So you made your question discrete, yet this question was not discrete. This question is continuous. So for HSC work, and even though you are starting S5, agree that now you are at higher, we change the concepts. We change the what? Some concepts. And that's why Mr. Sender will have to organize something very important for you that get on board early. And this is very common now. So I hope we're okay with that one, not 2.
Yes, teacher, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So this will be 24. This will be 4, and this will be 3. That's now part of our, once we have that, now I'm done. I don't need the 19.5. So your graph, a quick one through, mind also for the graph. We basically come, and now what Raymond wants is what I'll do. Now, Raymond, what you said, the previous number works here. Because these are class boundaries, I'll come and say 18. Then, because there are many figures, let me use a scale of 2. So 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, and 32. So I've captured, that's how I pick scale. I picked 2, because my scale is, if I pick 1, the space may not be enough. Then I can come and say class boundaries. These are class boundaries or upper class boundaries, no problem. Isn't it? Now on the vertical, we have to capture 70 is the highest. So I'll come and say 0, probably 10. So a scale in math is something that you must think about very fast, depending on the lowest and the highest. You don't do a lot of geography of writing 1 centimeter equal to this, no. What I see on the ground is what I call your scale. So that's 70, and I come and I say, this is frequency density. So the question wants us to have a histogram. So if a histogram, let's use, which color should we pick? Abdul Rahman, give us a color to pick. Do we go with red, your people power, or blue, or which one? Pink? Which one should we pick?
Blue.
Blue. Okay, let me go with this deep blue. Now, blue, the first one is 18 to 19, is 24. So you have to read you properly and say 24 is probably between this, below 25. So you come and put your blue and put in the middle. And then you do like, even this one, you make it blue. So that's the whole of, from the ground here. You see that blue thing. This one must be at the same level with the x-axis. Then geographers shade, but for us, we don't invest in the shading. You just draw, it's okay. Now the other one is 70. So from 70, we have that to this, then it's 20. So must bring it up to 20 here. Isn't it? Then you have 19 is for 20 to 24. So 19 is below 20. So you come, if you're using a graph book, you'll see your things are very, very marked. You don't even do any estimation like mine, where I'm struggling to make it, that's 24. Is that okay? Then we have 24 for 24 to 26. So 24 is above 19. So shall have something like this, but below 20, below, okay, so the same as the first one. This was supposed to be at that mark when you're drawing at the one of 26. Then you have 4, 26 to 30. You have for 26 to 30 is 4. This now is a very small one, below 10. There. Then the last one is 2. That is 30 to 32. Is much smaller. That is our histogram. So, Raymond, I wanted you and the rest of the class to see the difference. Here, I've used the 18. Yet, the previous number, I told you, 109.5. Now, that's the difference between A level and O level. Whereas the other number was discrete, I needed the 109.5. Now, this number, we
started borrowing. They started borrowing money. They started borrowing money from the
last number, though it wanted cumulative curve. I think I can do it for people because it also has unequal classes. So let me do it because it tests again scale and you don't do frequency density if you are to do our last number. So unless there are questions, can we go the last question for the work, the assignment? Now, so I'm waiting for feedback so that people, do you have any questions? We proceed.
Yes.
Okay. Now, those who are not seeing the, I wanted you not to see me because we needed the space. It's the blackboard. So we needed that blackboard. That's why Raymond, I could not, it was more important to you see the blackboard than seeing the names of Amina, Patience, Miss Mukose, and so on. Now, our last question here for us to discuss is about, now we need to clean the board first. We need to clean this stuff. We need the board to be cleaned so that we can write. So let me do that so that I have full board. I have a very big, so that's the advantage. If you have a laptop, you'll have a very big board. Now I saw my girl with this phone. I don't tell your parents that you need a laptop. Laptop, you'll get it in the second year, not in Form 6. Isn't it? Unless you reach yourself. So Abdurrahman, don't go and ask for a laptop. Now, let's go back to black, because the question had mass. It gave us mass for students and the number. It was 21 to 25, and the number was 10, 26 to 30. The number is 20. So these questions, when you do, each number should be tried out. Don't do one number and you think they are similar. They might be very different. You know, like this one is a cumulative curve and different from the one we have just done. Yet they are both cumulative curves. But you'll see some difference here, 41 and 50. And they gave you 30, then 51 and 65. And they gave you 45, then 66 and 75. And they give us 5. So the question says, draw a cumulative curve. Draw a cumulative curve from that data, using that data. So initially, we are saying ogive. So either we say cumulative curve, or they will say ogive. So you need to remember the two terms. So if you want a cumulative curve, here we shall need, I'll pick out one, this because of the board. But the class boundaries must come. Raymond, now Raymond and the others, I wanted you to see. Check this number, unlike the previous one. I wish I could take you back the previous board, but I can't because we have cleaned the board. But you can see it's 21 to 25, then 26. This is what we are calling discrete. Because of that difference, this is 25, this is 26. Now we call that discrete work, things we count. These are not already boundaries. You need boundaries. So when I come to my graph, I'll put for you the class boundaries. Actually, for you, you put it here. Write it down, class boundaries. Because you have you have enough space. Here I'm not writing because I have very little space for us to use. I hope you get that point. If possible, the second one also, I could have put for you class size if I had the lot of space, but I'm leaving for bigger space for the graph. But now what's the mass is relative frequency. That shall need the 10, then you have 30, then 45, 55, 85, 130, and 135. Isn't it? That's the table for the animals. So you cannot do a cumulative curve without cumulative frequency. So you come and draw your graph. I said because of space, I've not put for you the class boundaries, but when I come to my scale here, they must come. So the vertical, one of my daughters wanted us to start from like 10. I don't have, but we normally start from 0. Why? When I'm going to come up with the class boundaries, you're going to start with the 20.5. So that's why I say, let's have 0. Then because of I have little space problem, I'll use 20. I'll pick 40, pick 60, 80, 100, 120, and 140. So as a candidate of A level, you must be comfortable with selecting a scale. You should be very comfortable with selecting what? A scale. Is that okay? You should be very, very comfortable with selecting a scale. Let me first get these things returned so that I have my board in full. Let me see what we can do. Okay, I think now I can see the board. And we needed a board. So the vertical scale is that. The horizontal is, now you may not start from 0 for the horizontal, but I find it easier to give students 0 because the others become a bit harder to plan, or you write not down to scale. We shall do that when the figures, but these values are okay, we could start from. So this way you bring the 20.5. 20.5 as your first value, isn't it? 20.5. So either we're going to maintain a scale of 5, because here this class size is 5, or you maintain a scale of 10. So you decide how much space do I have? And how is it easy for me to plot these values? They determine. And by the way, how many values do you have? If I use the 10, it means I can easily plot 30, 40, 50, but I would have left out, I will need to put the 35s in the middle, the 65. So what people do, let's go with the 5, but knowing that I need to capture also the highest. So if I go with the 5, let's pray that I'll have up to the highest. So your scale must, so you count the boxes first. 30.5, 35, 40.5, 45.5, so this scale is something that is what a student must think about carefully before you decide to, because when you check your graph paper, these squares may not be as many as mine. So you might find using 10 becomes better, because now it seems I've used many because I had space, I'd left enough space. I planned my graph. Some of you want to economize and use a small piece of graph paper. So yeah, if I want, by the way, I can tell you that you can come and write mass. There is no problem with that. If you at your school, your teacher writes mass, don't quarrel that Mr. Sendala brought to Haji Mukose and he gave us class boundaries. Class boundaries are okay because they are the ones we see on the graph, but even mass, the data is about mass. So sometimes don't become rigged. At A level, we are very, very flexible. We appreciate correct things. So long as they are correct, we take them. Now this time, let's pick a girl. Lady Cynthia, which color should we use? Cynthia, I hope you're still there. Which color should we pick? I use red. Okay, you good. So if you had to use red for our bars, actually it's a cumulative curve, not even I thought, you see, a cumulative curve and histogram will have still class boundaries. So our first point is 0. So normally this 0 doesn't appear in the paper here, in the your table, but you credit that nobody is under 21. Therefore, we start with 0, then 10 is for this next value. So that's the middle of. Then 30.5 is 30. So that's around the middle. Then 35.5 is 45. 45 is above 40. Then 40, do we have 40.5? Yeah, it's 55. That's below 60. Then 45.5, no. Now you see now, I've not brought in frequency density. At the same time now, I'm going to skip 45.5 and go to 50. So there will be some space. So 50 has 85, something above 80. Then I'll skip 55, I'll skip 60, I got 65.5, 130. Somewhere there. Then finally, I got 75. So I skipped 70.5, I got 75.5, 135. Somewhere there. Then you can join. Let me go back to black. Probably. That's the plotting. You can come and join with freehand. Here we don't use a ruler. That is our cumulative frequency curve. So you can see the difference between the O-level cumulative curve and my cumulative curve. In O-level, it was rare for you to draw a cumulative curve and there is a space with no points. This, you have skipped some 2 points, even you have skipped a point, but that's the scale gives you that automatically. That happens at A level. So when the teachers talk about cumulative curve, you think we are doing things we do, and even like some of you now might be annoyed with me and you sleep, but you get a past paper and you'll fail to draw this because you won't plan your scale well. That was the assignment, basically, about cumulative curve and histogram. And I wanted us, unless you have a question, I wanted us to proceed something, go back to mean. Is there anybody with a question? Cynthia, any question about that work?
No, teacher.
Okay, so that was our first piece of the work which was talking about presentation. And I told you, even don't ignore a stop frequency polygon. You don't ignore pie chart. It's because of the time we meet once in a week. Otherwise, you should revise a pie chart. Even in my notebook there, you have a pie chart. So don't forget how to draw a pie chart. The way you draw it in H2 is the same at any level, whether geography or university. You still draw a pie chart using 360 degrees. So that one, don't refuse to revise. Then read some message if they are for the class, hope not for other people. You have no rich neighbors. Come back to Chireka. I have 2. Sorry. Now, those next time when you are sending to people, make them there as person. Otherwise, I'm reading things that are not for the class. Who stays in Chireka? Who is my neighbor? Now, so guy, my neighbor. Oh, Husna.
No.
You're not.
No, teacher. But I'm close by.
Okay. Now, those who had the opportunity to be with us last Wednesday, we comfortably discussed 3 things. And our discussion was about mean, and not to waste their time, we're not going to have examples that are many. We're just going to do more of, I think we should be more of proceeding with what we discussed. So we introduced mean, gave those 2, used, did we use Rahma? Is it the Rahma who gave us the 7 people at home? Yeah, we used Rahma's family. It was a very good one, gave us very good example, and we emphasized several things. So for those who missed, because some of you, you miss, you don't have power at home, mommy refused to give you MBs, you yourself, you're not in the need of you might be busy, you want rest. Arsenal lost, you are an Arsenal supporter, so you can come when you are annoyed, isn't it? So for those who missed, we had gone as far as using this. So today I wanted to introduce an example, but give 2 alternative ways of doing it. Introduce an example, but give 2 ways of doing that example. Is that acceptable, members? Wanted to give a grouped work example, but introduce 2 ways of doing it, or I'd even requested the class to go and try those very numbers using what? Using the formula. So our next exercise is going to be about mean, mainly mean and mode. But because of time, I can remind people basically about mean. Probably I'll quickly, mode we shall say something about it and median, so that shall be in position to do the next exercise. But let me pick an example here for mean. For those who missed, let's remind you that if we had time, would request each other to give us our heights. And I see whether Cynthia knows how tall she is. Whether who? Martha. Martha, I've not seen Martha today. Martha, are you present? She's social distancing from the class. Martha was Irene. Irene. I've not seen Irene today. And is it Abdul? The other one is Abdul Rahman. Was it Abraham or Ibrahim? And so, do you know Ibrahim?
Pardon?
Do you know Ibrahim in this class?
No, teacher.
Okay. Do you know Shakira?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Now, when we concluded, I'd introduced classes, grouped work like this. So I had one example too about this, which we discussed. So I want people who are present to tell us, what did we do? How do we get mean for this? If I say calculate the mean, or sometimes they say estimate the mean. And by HS, you know, why do we say estimate? Why not others? So I want to do two ways. I want you to estimate the mean or calculate the mean using this formula or using a working mean of, shall pick a figure of 158 probably. Calculate the mean. And I want us, the two, to give us the same answer. So quickly, we're going to calculate the mean, but also in the last meeting, I didn't introduce working mean so that people want, though I say this is the must formula. Working mean, you only go for it if it's in a seminar and they want you to use it, or if it's bulk values like this, or the teacher says use working mean. Is that okay? So if I have such a number, what do we do? We said, Cynthia, what did we say? What did you get? You said you introduce X.
Yes.
You
Then
said
you
introduce. So how do you get X? You can tell us how you get the X. What's the X value?
151 plus 153 divided by 2.
And you get? Some people don't know what 152. Some people can feel that addition. They say, please, mommy, bring my car. So we get X values. So can we all get X values? 152, the next becomes 150, have 155.
5.
Have 158.
158.
161. 164. And 167. This is what we call numbers of O-level style. They have the same class size. Do you see how I got this? I was basically adding 3. I never went back to what you did for me. Only use it for the first one. The rest, add 3. Because the class size is 3. 154 minus 151 is 3. And I add, because the classes were equal. But in case they're not equal, you have to be careful. Now that's what you need to do this number. Once you have those, you ask yourself, what else do I need? I need to multiply F times X. I think we did this in S2. If you really appreciate your, you know the problem in Uganda, you all lost your, I'm told these days S4, you even business girls, you sell your books as you leave school. You go to the canteen and say, who wants to buy, who wants papers for chapati? So Cynthia sells all the books of senior, all the books of senior 3, because you're going to HSC. But HSC is a continuation of what you covered, isn't it? So don't throw away senior 5 books that have gone to senior 6. You'll be in trouble, you'll be shocked. Nansuga. you'll be shocked that senior 5 work and senior 6 work is all the same. We need everything.
Okay, teacher.
So if somebody needs your books, let him wait after when you're in A6 VAC. Because you might, if they are biology books, you might need to check for that work now when you're in HSC. And you might find your notes very, very useful for O level. 328. And finally, 167. Now, what do we need here? I need the total for, in the most, you can put the total here below, and mainly the total we get, people must take note, is F and summation Fx. We don't get for the summation X. That's a very common mistake which we normally use. These are people in groups, so X represents whoever is here. So what's summation F now? What's the total number of students we have in this class? Who has a working calculator?
45.
45, good.
Are you sure?
How calculator works, but some of you are busy counting your fingers. Can you mute my friend? After giving me the answer, you mute. The next is the main, I don't know today which man, we don't have any man speaking, only one spoke. Only hear lady's voice.
7,916.
You have 3 what?
7,116.
7,000. Thanks for representing the men. That is it. Abdurrahman who brought problems with my laptop. Clicked OK. Okay, the 6 is there. So our mean should be 7,116 divided by 45. And I told you these answers normally have many, they could be recurring once in a while. So you give minimum 4 or 5 decimal places, isn't it? So we don't encourage too much rounding. So what else have you got?
158.13.
158.133, isn't it? Yeah, we said we write it many decimal places, and you come and underline and you say, some of you even say, quite easily done, yet you have even failed the answer, isn't it? So I hope most people were present last time when we discussed that. So I'm just helping. Probably Nasuka, were you there last time?
Yes, teacher.
Some people missed. So I wanted to give, are we done copying that somewhere? So that we repeat, but use working mean. Now, marking mean will be good if, because next week we might talk about standard deviation, or sometime. It becomes easier to use working mean than have these bulky figures of 2,000, because variance will give us millions, because you're going to square. The figures are going to be very bulky. So that's why some books have what you call working mean, but only use it if the teacher says use working mean. The best formula is this. What you have done is the original, is the starting formula, and a very good one, very powerful. Whether programs, packages that people use at BStart, at engineering, they base on this. This is the formula used. They use the formula to develop some packages. So mean can easily be calculated. That's why people who do arts know a lot of mean, because they use the laptop, they use the package. They'll get the mean. Now for you now, so you have to calculate first, then so that you become an IT specialist, because you know how to design the package. At the same time, you can know where it comes from. Some people just press the buttons, they don't know how the answer was got. For you can verify and say there is a mistake with this computer. Let me check my things. So you have that chance. So I wanted to clean, and I clean this part from, I want to remove just one bit here. And we proceed. Actually, I want to, let me do like this. I'm going to remove some parts so that I extend this stuff. I repeat this way. So I hope you've noted our answer. Now I want to use working mean. And there are many others. There is when using coding, still working mean, but if I have some time, I can also go into that, but I want to give only one, working mean probably. Now I'm retaining this table because, let me remove it. Since I have the book, I can get from the book straight away so that we don't clean again. So the same example, let's agree with me, we repeat it, but we use a working mean of our choice. On your behalf, I've seen 158 is okay because it's not far. You use the middle values to constitute your working mean. So I want us to pick just from X. Let's generate from the X values. We said our X values are 152, 155, 158, 161, 164, and 167. Now you have F. The F is 2, 14, 13, 13, 2, and 1. Now there are two ways that I can use to work out the mean, and I'll get the same answer. One of them is using a working mean, and the formula for mean becomes, let me put it here, hope it shall not reach here, is the working mean or assumed mean plus summation FB over summation F. I think in O level you have that formula. Learned it. Now, Suga, you remember that? Or today, is it Smaya or the one from Shakira? Did you see that formula in O level?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so we are revising. Now I'll do extra and I give you one more, which is slightly different. So let's start with that one. So you have to, if we are to do, we must pick an A. Our assumed mean, I said, assumed mean comes from the values of X. So either the teacher gives you the value, can say using a working mean, or I can say using a working mean of your choice. Is that okay? So if you pick a working mean of your choice, you are at liberty to pick anything. And any of these values is okay. But there is a but. If you want the work to be easier, since mean is a central value, it's a central location, it's a central value, pick values close to the center. Now here our central values are 158 and 162. So would you prefer you pick any of these two? If there are 7, you pick the middle one. If there are 6, you pick any of the two. So I can say, let me pick 158. Isn't it? Okay. Now, you introduce F, introduce D. And I think those who did know what D means. Do you remember what D means? D is the difference between X minus the working mean, isn't it? So the advantage with this is you can start with that very number. This becomes a 0. 58 minus 58 is 0. Then this one will become positive what? X minus this is -3. And this is -6. Are we there? Is that okay?
Yes, teacher.
Yes,
Then
teacher.
this is 3,
Yes, teacher.
6. So do you see, when you are using D in most cases, if the classes are the same, you are likely not even to require a calculator. Actually, when we asked our students, we didn't have good calculators. We would always prefer using this because I work with very small figures. Then once that is done, just come and do F times D here. Hope you can see that. FD, which can be done with general mathematics work, because you're multiplying 2 times 6, 3 times 14. That is what? 42, isn't it? This is 0. So people don't harass your mother without a calculator. Mommy, I'm missing. I have no calculator. It means for you, for the time being, Nansubuga, you are supposed to use working mean. Cynthia, or Shakira, or what? The girls, don't cry all the time. I'm the only one in class without a calculator. My friends, they have FX, they have TX machines, their phones have, please, let's take things process by process, isn't it? The calculator will come, but you can do without it in the time being where possible. If the calculator comes, well and good. If it doesn't, you don't quarrel with your parents, isn't it? You don't quarrel with your parents. So we are having 39 plus 12 plus 9 minus 42 minus 12. So I've got, what have you got?
6.
Yeah, we've got positive 6, negative 6.
Positive.
Positive 6. You said so. You can see how light the work becomes. What mean makes your work very, very light. So it's where you only need a calculator or a phone to divide. So you don't forget your working mean. Bring the working mean plus the 6 divided by the 45. So you work out that and you'll see, trust me, that answer must be the same if you have done the things during the normal time. I don't expect it to change. So I have 158.133 recurring to many decimal places. Do you see that? Are we there?
Yes, teacher.
So should I give another one now? I can give one last one. If the classes are, because later there are some that are bulky, I'm preparing you for variance and standard deviation. That's where I'll need this probably. If I said find the standard deviation, somebody who goes in this is likely not to make mistakes with the figures. So another one that we normally give, or that I can normally give, is the one we call, is more, some books call it coding. It's like a coding process we can introduce what we call T. How much time do you have? Should I give that one? Or I leave it to you as an assignment? Let me give. Should I give you the one for another formula? Or we stop on that one? Nasuga, what do you suggest?
Pardon, teacher.
Should I give another message formula for that, or that's enough? Because you only need one. And I say the first one is the best, but you can use this one.
Yes, teacher.
So we stop on that one. So that
Yes.
I think in the interest of time, you try. Can you try this and I see? Let me give you a number for you to try now, using that working, the 2, so that we can close this lesson. Let me give you one here to try. And we select the girls are going to use working mean, the boys are going to use the traditional. Is that okay? Have you heard?
Yes, teacher.
We are giving an example, but you to try and you give us the answer, isn't it? Now we're saying the girls are going to use working mean. The boys are going to use the summation fx over summation f. Abdurrahman, have you heard? So I have here weight in kilograms, and this is the frequency. Abdurrahman, you have not responded, but you have agreed. The teachers made the choice for you. Since you say you are very hardworking men, isn't it? So try this without. So that's the work, 44.0 to 47.9, 48.0 to 51.9, and so on. The classes are the same size. Now I want you to get the average weight of the patients. These were patients. Doctors normally record the results of the patients, the weight. Now they want the average weight. So I've said, boys, use the general formula. The ladies use working mean. You have 5 minutes. You do, we discuss, then we go. Then we know we are done with mean. So next time it will be simple. We talk about just median and mode and go to the other aspect. I think that the assignment will be easy because and actually this one is in an exercise, though I asked for you to draw the ogive first, but capture the mean and the mode also later, but let's capture the mean to have even reduced part of your work. So when you're done, you tell me, but let's use escalate some few minutes, like 5, so that you can rest for some 2 minutes before 11. Felix, are you done? Felix?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet, okay. Is there anybody who thinks she's done? Asha? Asimwe Sajida. People time. The girls should take less time because their working should be shorter. Girls, are you done? Ladies, Lady Irene or Cynthia, are you done?
Not yet, teacher. Teacher, you did not give us the assumed me.
I've not done what?
You've not given us the assumed me.
I said you make a choice. You made a choice last time, isn't it? You make your own choice. Okay. Make a choice. There is no problem when Cynthia has a different assumed mid from Nasu Gano. It will work. I told you pick middle values. Yeah, there are 8. You can pick any of your choice. So you're going to take long to finish. So ladies are picking the assumed mean of their working mean of their choice. And doesn't matter. The answer will be the same.
Teacher,
Are you done?
I've got 58.014.
58.014. Thanks for trying. We shall check and see and confirm another. This 58 point, I hope you've noted that somewhere, but be cross-checking to see if your values are very, very, very correct. Because you have a slight different from mine, and yet I think mine is correct. So you can try and cross-check, but you are close. So either you forgot to, what? Yeah, okay, I can see one, the problem could be class boundary. Okay, no, but class mark, you cannot go wrong because there is no class boundary here. It's a class mark. So what's your assumed mean, my daughter? What's your assumed mean?
57.95.
Okay, that's good. It's mine too, it's the same. So what's your summation, FB?
Can we use another assumed mean?
You can use any other, no problem. Even 60 something will work. 62.95. The classifier is 4. Yeah. Even 61.95 is okay. Any is okay. But the final answer must be the same. So we've got some answer from the ladies. Now want gents. Gents, don't run away because we are close to 30 now. People are running. Don't say that your battery is done because I've given you a question. Felix. Felix, how far?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet. Do you have a calculator?
Yeah. Teacher,
Yes.
I've got 60.62.
60.62. Girls, you're doing well. You're close. I think probably mine has a problem. My answer is 60 point something, but the accuracy now is, I hope we have the same values. 3, 17, 50, 45, 46, 57, 32. Is there another one? Lady? Somebody was saying something.
60.69.
You have?
60.69.
07.
There's some lady saying something. Why not pick one? Because Mr. Sendawala is going to tell us to get out of class. Any other one more? Okay, in the interest of time, we're going to use the one for, because we don't have time, let's use the one for working mean. But the main, even your answer should be the same. So your values X, do you have 45.95? All of us have that, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So we are time bound. I want us to quickly do this. And when you are time bound, then working mean works. It's going to make these figures look very, very small. So you have that. Now, the ladies you are saying, I didn't give you, I don't need to give you. Said pick any value in the middle. So either you pick 61, today let me pick 61.9. So let me pick my assumed mean as 61.95. If you check in my book, I use 57.95, but any can do. So you have here D. We said D is the difference between X and that. So just come here, make this 0. Is that okay? Then the class size is 4. So this one becomes -4, -8, -12, -16. Are we there? Do you have those values? The girls. Now the girls are the ones who use this. Girls. Is there anybody who uses 61?
Yes, me teacher.
Okay, so do you have those values I have?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Now you'll have -48. First mute. Next is 204. Zero. 57 times 4. 228. Then 8 times 23. 184. And finally, 9 times 12 is basically 108. So we get our summation FD and our summation F. This, I think summation F is 250 already. Now summation FD, what did you get the ladies with this answer? Negative what? Do you know what you got?
I got 156, not a negative.
You got what?
156.
Total is 156.
Sorry.
Mine is 3. Did you have this? I have this as my total. Do you have these entries as I have them? Are they okay? Do you have -48? Do you have those values? Anybody who did, there were 2 girls who said 03. So I want you to cross-check. There was a 1 here. Now, I'm trying to push you so that we don't take too much of people's, you're already into somebody's lesson. So anybody with that? Hey, the other one was 60, not okay. There is no 1. I'm adding a 1 with no good hours. So you have, so my answer is this. I've got this, and it's what I have in, if you want, by the way, if you want, you put the ins. So the answer is 60.702. I don't know where your mistake, where people went wrong. I don't know what happened. The boys, did you get that answer? The answer is 60.702. Even that's what I've got, and yet I've used a different working mean. Is that okay? So
Yes.
I want us to,
Yes,
to
teacher.
stop there. We are time bad. We are, I've seen here, Asha says 60.702. Another one, Kathy 60.702. I think that's the correct one. By democracy now, even me, this is what I've got. So you go and read about mean. There are other alternatives, but for now, that works for us. So next time, I want to concentrate more on variance and the others. That will mention about mode and median briefly. So if you want to try numbers, the very one where we drew the graphs and said you can go back to them and now calculate mean. Since now we have learned how to do mean, you go back, instead of drawing the histogram, you calculate mean. They can give you enough exercise for now. Thank you for your time being good, serious students. We meet next week, inshallah. And you go, if you are 18, you go for vaccination. Amina, you go for vaccination if you're big enough.
Thank you, teacher, for the lesson.
You are welcome.